In today's video, we're looking at another dual-channel dashcam, the 70mm A800 S. Front records in 4K, rear in 1080p. What I really like about it is it came with an ND filter. What an ND filter does, it removes the reflections that you're getting from your dashboard. It also comes with a hardwire kit. Nice if you want to permanently install this dashcam. Hi friends, Dirk here. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Dashcam Info. So this dashcam is on the larger side, but it's still very manageable. It's not bulky. It has a nice sleek design. The front camera rotates up and down, and the rear camera as well. The 4 buttons on the bottom were not labeled. It is a first timer for me. I've never seen this before. And even in the manual, it says button 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it doesn't tell you what these buttons do. But I can tell you, as soon as you power on the dashcam, yes, you can see it on your display. This is another dashcam that came without a micro SD card. And I can see that this is currently a trend. And quite a few dashcam manufacturers forgo on including a micro SD card. I don't know if they want to save extra money or if they think the consumer has to buy them separately and they make extra profit. But it's a trend that I don't like. I really prefer having the micro SD card included. We spoke about the ND filter, which is a great thing to have, but most cars here in sunny Florida have a tint inside their windows. And you might notice from polarized sunglasses, when you're looking against a tinted window, then you might get rainbow patterns. And this is how the footage looks with the ND filter on. Now you can turn the ND filter so you can advance or reduce the effect of the polarized filter. But here I want to also show you how the dashcam looks without the ND filter. And for my purposes, it is better because I personally don't like these rainbow colors on the windshield. So when we power on the dashcam for the very first time, we get prompted to format the SD card, which is normal. And then we are about to do the basic settings, date, time, and so on. And then there is a QR code that appears to be able to download the app. But this QR code didn't work for me. It is an easy fix for 70mm, maybe a firmware update, or they will update the link that is tied to this QR code. So I don't want to overjudge this. So they told me I should simply look in my app store for the 70mm dashcam app. I did, I downloaded it, and then I wanted to connect it. First thing, well, you would go into your Wi-Fi settings and you would try to connect to the network of 70mm. And now, while every other dashcam manufacturer has the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 passcode that you could change later on, not this dashcam. In order to connect to their network, you would have to go in the menu, go to settings, tap on Wi-Fi, and only then the new passcode is revealed to you. And you have to type in this passcode so you can connect to the network. Once you connected to the network, now you would think you could simply open the app and connect your dashcam. But it's not that easy because 70mm requires from you to register. And this is another step that I don't approve. I don't think it's great because nobody wants to give up their privacy. Nobody wants to give up their information. And it doesn't serve the customer at all. It serves only the ones who are inquiring or acquiring the information, because that gives them the ability for marketing and to sell your data. So 70mm, if you hear this, please stop that. An app tied to a product that the customer would purchase should be free to use without any need of registration. So once I registered, I was able to log in, and it is straightforward. It's pretty basic. So nothing special here. You can, of course, operate this dashcam also out of the convenience of these buttons.
Formatting succeeded. Backup camera is connected.
The display is well readable, but it's not a touchscreen. You really need to press these buttons in order to operate the dashcam. Overall, I think the daytime footage has a really good, decent quality, while the front camera handles my tint very well and the images by day are very good visible. The rear camera struggles with the tint that I installed, and it doesn't really look great. It's not just that I have these heating stripes across my rear window. They are always a little bit blocking the view and disturbing, but looking past that, it really can't produce good image quality. So the rear camera of this dashcam is not really on par with the front quality. While the front records in a very smooth and nice 4K 30 FPS, the rear records in 1080p with 25 frames per second, which makes the aligning of the footage very difficult. So to synchronize them is a bit more difficult because they don't have the same frame rate. I don't know why they would do this. What I like is that the files are MP4 files. You can easily play them back on your phone and also on your laptop. And a lot of cheaper manufacturers tend to have other file types that are more difficult, which you would need to convert first before you can actually see them. So here, no problems at all. It's all MP4. The nighttime footage is okay. It is not bad at all. I've seen way worse dashcams, but the sensor has not the greatest dynamic range. So you will see that sometimes it's difficult to read license plates. Still, it's a clear image and it's absolutely usable. What the? So ein Vollidiot. I can see this definitely challenging the latest Azdome camera. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, if you have questions or suggestions, please write it in the comments and I'll definitely respond. Till the next time, stay safe, stay tuned and take care. Bye for now.